Once again, welcome back to Geography class. In this class, we are going to talk and discuss about the chapter number 3, Water Resources. Chapter number 3 is talking about the different resources of water. In this topic, we are going to have the discussion on introduction of this chapter. After that, what is the water scarcity? Next, the need for water conservation and management. So, dear cadet, please have attention. In this chapter, we are going to focus on the water scarcity and how we can conserve the water and different steps related to the management of water. As the example, number of the time I stated in my class, you are having the water from the tap. In the tap, the water is coming from the tank through the pipeline. But in the tank, the water is coming from various sources. What are they? Already we had seen about the rain, lake, pond, and so on. So dear cadet, this chapter water resources is not going to be part of your annual examination. Not a single question is going to be there for board examination. Only map work is going to be asked from this chapter for 1 mark for locating or labeling the dams of India situated on different rivers. Next, this photograph is talking about the boy and a girl, Pinky and Chintu, what they are talking about. So here, I request you all, please go through this. The conversation between Pinky and Chintu is speaking about the water scarcity, the importance of water, and the significance of water in our day-to-day life. This chapter I had already completed in the classes. This presentation already I prepared and I had shown to the cadets, those who were in the school. Those who are at their home, for them it's a disadvantage that in the class they were not present. But still here I am just concluding the following points which are very important here. So Pinky and Chintu, by the conversation you are getting here, that both are talking about the different uses, different things which are related to the water. The chapter Water Resources is talking about the alarming bell for us, that the water scarcity is going to be there in future. Still many parts of the world they are suffering from water scarcity. Next, moving further to see the new point. You already know that the 3/4 of our earth is covered with the water, which you already seen in the 6th standard when we were talking about why earth is called as a blue planet. But only a small portion of its account for a fresh water that can be put to the use. So by seeing this, we can understand clearly. So water is a very important and essential component in our day-to-day life. So not to waste water, not to exploit the water. This fresh water is mainly obtained from the surface runoff and the groundwater that is continually being renewed and recharged through the hydrological cycle. Here the hydrological cycle, in a very simple word, we're talking about the water cycle. Hydro means water. All water moves within the hydrological cycle, ensuring that water is a renewable resource. At the last, we are going to have a discussion on that why the water is called as a renewable resource, Then you have to explain about all the process: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Dear cadet, in this presentation we are going to see the resources of water and the importance of water. Next, you might wonder that if 3/4 of the world is covered with the water and the water is renewable resource, then how it is that the countries, region around the globe suffer from water scarcity. It's amazing to read this. Why, it is predicted that by 2025, nearly 2 billion people will live in absolute water scarcity. The reason that the human need and greed and lack of awareness leads all the water resources to the worst condition, and we are suffering with the water scarcity. Moving further, what is water scarcity and the need for water conservation and management? This topic is very valuable. What is water scarcity? In a simple word, the shortage of water. The amount of water in a less quantity. That means the adequate amount of water. Water scarcity. Given the abundance and the renewability of the water, it is difficult to imagine that we may suffer from water scarcity. The moment we speak water shortage, we immediately associate it with the region having the low rainfall or those that are drought prone. Then we instantaneously visualize the desert of Rajasthan, the woman balancing many matkas, that means the earthen pot, used for collecting and storing water and traveling long distance to get water. True, the availability of water resources varies over space and time, mainly due to the variation in the seasonal and annual precipitation. So dear cadet, water scarcity, that means the shortage of water, the amount of water is less in that particular region. As we are talking about the shortage of water in our mind, we are having the areas with the low rainfall or the drought prone area, where there is an absence of water totally. Here the example of Rajasthan is given over there. The women are moving to fetch the water a long distance, carrying the different types of matkas, and many is there. So see the worst condition. At our home we are getting plenty amount of water, but see their condition. So water is very important, not to waste it. But water scarcity in most cases is caused by over exploitation. So now the following points we are discussing. What are the different factors which are responsible for water scarcity? So water scarcity is caused by over exploitation. When I am making this arrow, caused by over exploitation, right? Excessive use and unequal access to water among the different social groups. These are the points which are leading to water scarcity or the causes of water scarcity. Where is then the water scarcity likely to occur? You have already read in the hydrological cycle, the fresh water can be obtained directly from the precipitation. It means from the rainfall we can have the fresh water, surface runoff water and the groundwater. It is possible that an area or region may have ample water resources but still facing water scarcity. Many of our cities are such examples. Thus, the water scarcity may be an outcome of a large or a growing population or conquest, greater demands for water and unequal access. So the point is speaking about the water will be in a huge amount, but still the people are suffering from water scarcity because the use is not proper, the exploitation of the water resources going on. A large population requires more water only for domestic use. Don't think that. They require for the number of the things. use but also to produce more food. Hence, it facilitates higher food grain production. That means we are talking about the irrigation in the cropping field. Water resources are being overexploited to expand the irrigated area for dry season agriculture. Irrigated agriculture is the largest consumer of water. Now it is needed for revolutionize the agriculture through the developing drought resistant crop and dry farming techniques. So many more farming methods are introduced now so we can save the water and irrigate the agricultural land. Next, you have seen in the TV number of the advertisement are coming. Most farmers have their own well and tube wells in their farm for irrigation to increase their production. But have you ever wondered that this could result that may lead to falling groundwater level, adversely affecting water availability and the food security of the people? This particular paragraph is talking about the overuse of the groundwater can lead to be the water scarcity in that area, and there will be insecurity for the food in our country. Next, this photograph is speaking about what? This photograph is talking about water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. So dear cadet, please see that. I request all the cadets, please read it. A Kashmir earthquake survivor carry water in the snow in a devastated village. You can see here the huge queue, right? See, the women are having the different object to fetch the water. By seeing this photograph, it's clear that the water is very important and how the number of the people are suffering with the water scarcity. In Hindi and English, both the point, this photograph is speaking to you that the water is very, very essential. If we are not going to save and we are not going to conserve the water, so in future we are going to badly suffer with the water scarcity. There will be not a single drop of water to drink to us. Next, moving further, post-independent India witnessed intensive industrialization and urbanization. So creating vast opportunity for us, today large industrial houses are a commonplace as an industrial unit of many MNCs, that is the multinational corporations. The ever increasingly number of the industry has made matter worse by exerting pressure on existing freshwater resource. Industry, apart from being heavy users of water, also require power to run them. Much of energy comes from hydroelectricity power. Today in India, hydroelectricity power contribute approximately 22% of the total electricity produced. So now we are talking about the post-independent situation. In that, India has witnessed about the industrialization and urbanization, which leads to more and more use of freshwater resources to generate the hydroelectricity, the electricity which is generated by the water, that is going to be called as hydroelectricity power. By this all seen, you can understand about the misuse of water leads to water scarcity. Next. Moreover, multiplying urban centers with a large and dense population and urban lifestyle have not only aided to the water and energy requirement but have further aggravated the problem. That means the problem is increased. If you look into the housing society or a colonies in the city, you would find that the most of these have their own groundwater pump devices to meet their water needs. Not surprisingly, we find that the fragile water resources are being overexploited and have caused their depletion in several of these cities. So next the topic is very simple. Then the human need is making the water resources, that means the groundwater level in many cities and societies, due to having the overuse of that, leads to the water scarcity and the depletion of the water resources in many areas. So dear cadet, moving toward the last topic of this presentation, we are going to have the concluding points which are very important here. So far, we have focused on the quantitative aspects of water scarcity. We are talking about only the quantitative aspects of water scarcity. Now let us consider another situation where water is sufficiently available to meet the needs of the people, but the areas still suffer from the water scarcity. This scarcity may be due to the bad quality of water. Lately, there has been a growing concern that even if there is ample water to meet the needs of the people, much of it be polluted by the domestic and the industrial waste, chemical, pesticide and fertilizer used in agriculture, thus making it a hazard for human use. So dear cadet, this particular paragraph is talking about the area with the huge amount of water. Quantitatively the water is more, but qualitatively the water scarcity is there due to the human activities. Just the industrial waste is added to the fresh water, chemicals, fertilizers, pesticide used in agriculture, which is making the water to the worst and exploited and polluted one, which is very dangerous for the use of human. So that can also lead to the water scarcity. So here the quantitative and qualitative, both the aspects of water is very important. If we are not going to focus on that, surely we are going to suffer with the water scarcity. Last point. In this point, this is interesting aside. The river, especially the smaller ones, have all turned into toxin stream. The reason why the people's agricultural, modernization, urbanization and industrialization and numerous and growing day by day, and they are releasing their all waste in the freshwater stream, and even a big one like Ganga and Yamuna are far from being pure. So this is the interesting aside and the reports of citizen. Fifth report, 1999. It's talking about and speaking to you how the Ganga, the purest river is, and Yamuna, they are also not pure now, because number of the ill activities are going on and water pollution is increasing. Next, to see the next point. You have already realized that the need of is to concern and manage our water resource. So soon we are going to talk and discuss about the water conservation steps and management. To safeguard ourselves from the health hazard, to ensure the food security, continuation to our livelihood and productive activities, are also to prevent degradation of natural ecosystem. Over exploitation and mismanagement of water resources will impoverish these resources and cause ecological crisis that may have profound impact on our life. So dear cadets, here we have finished this particular point. In this last point, if we are not going to take care of the water resources, So we are going to have number of health hazard. We are going to be insecure in our food security. Our livelihood is going to be disturbed. Our productive activities are going to be badly affected, and it's going to be the very degraded on our degradation to our natural ecosystem. Next, few activities are placed in the textbook. Those who are having the textbook, please go through that. From your everyday experience, write a short proposal that how you can conserve the water. Right? You have to do that. Next, from this particular point, the question answers you have to write down. What do we mean by the term water scarcity? What are the different factors which are responsible for water scarcity? You have to write down. Lastly, please read this point, and for the next upcoming point, please read this chapter, and whatever your doubts and difficulties are there, please ask to me. And if you haven't subscribed my channel, please subscribe it, and those who are still remaining to share it, please share to them. Thanking to each and everyone for watching this video. Till then, be safe and secure at your home. Jai